All right, here we go. Show me the money. I think Americans deserve to know the truth about Joe Biden and Hunter's business dealings, and if the big guy's still getting paid. The big guy, meaning the guy in the Oval Office. Anyway, joining us now for this and some other things, we welcome back Tennessee Senator Marsha Blackburn. Senator Blackburn, welcome, ma'am. Appreciate it very, very much. You know, look, Elon Musk, I mean, the story here, Elon Musk is a free speech hero, buying Twitter and putting this out. I think it's fabulous stuff. But I must confess, once we go through that, I want to know, with all this influence peddling, China, Russia, Ukraine, and all of what we knew that the mainstream media wouldn't report about Bobulinski and the big guy gets 10%, how much went to Joe Biden? When did it go to Joe Biden? And is it still going to Joe Biden? I don't think those are unfair questions, Senator, and wondered if you had a thought on it.
Well, they're very relevant questions, Larry, and it's answers that the American people want to know. Biden Incorporated, as I call it, has been big business for the past 50 years. And Joe Biden, his children, his siblings have all been a part of this. They have built their career off Joe Biden's public service. And of course, you had the collusion between the FBI and social media and downplaying the laptop as Russian disinformation, and now people are saying, well, it was really true. And so people want to know, how far did this go? That cooperation between the FBI and social media, how deep was that? Exactly who all was involved with it? Was it more than just the Biden campaign? Was it people in other agencies that were a part of this? How deeply was big media involved in this with big tech? Those are all questions that need to be asked, answers need to be given, people need to be held to account. I look forward to Republicans taking over the House in January and beginning to push some of that forward so we can then amplify that and push it in the Senate.
And they'll get subpoena power, won't they, Senator? They'll get subpoena power.
Yes, they will.
Which is very important, yeah. Let me just go back. You know, you raised a whole variety of very important topics. We knew at one point, or we were told, Hunter Biden and his funds, I don't know who paid what, paid for Joe Biden's expenses. We were told that. And we also know from Bobulinski and others that Joe Biden showed up at some of these influence peddling dinners and lunches and so forth. We know that. But I'm just trying to figure out, you know, good investigative reporting. Let's follow the money. I'd like to know how much he received. I'd like to know whether he's still receiving it. I don't know how to get to that except through records that the Treasury Department is apparently withholding. I mean, they're more than happy to go through Donald Trump's tax returns, but they're not more than happy to release anything to do with Joe Biden and Hunter Biden. You see, I mean, it's the money here that puts the influence peddling at the country's risk, it seems to me.
And you want to say and ask the question appropriately, with China, when you look at our dealings with China, why has Joe Biden not spoken out more in support of the Chinese protesters? Why is he not supporting them? Why did Apple agree to cut off airdrop? Why was Apple not called out by this White House for doing that? Why have we not activated the Open Technology Fund to put the internet up over China like we did in Cuba, like we did in Ukraine? That is something that we should be doing. So when you look at Russia, when you look at China, when you look at these relationships that Biden Incorporated has had over the past several decades, you have to ask, who is really involved? What is the money flow? Where is it going? Why did the FBI try to go to social media to restrict this story or to couch the laptop story as Russian disinformation?
I mean, that's just, you know, you're right. I don't reckon you're going to get much help from your Democratic colleagues in the Senate, but we all have high hopes in the House. Before I lose you, Senator, can I just ask you one thing? There's a rumor, a statement, I think, that suggests no omnibus spending bill. We're not going to have a tizzy of lame duck spending to break even more spending and deficit and debt records and create more inflation. That Senator McConnell has said no. I don't know whether you can confirm that. I don't know whether you have a thought on that. I sure like to go back to regular order and do a real budget next year. I don't know. How about yourself?
We would love to see a real budget next year. And we're hearing that there is no progress toward an omnibus. It is beginning to appear that it will be a CR. That may help to tamp down the spending, whether it's a short-term CR or a CR through the end of the fiscal year. We will see where that goes. But Larry, the point is the federal government spends too much of the hardworking taxpayers' money. We have too much debt. The spending needs to be brought under control. And you've heard me say, if I had my way, we would freeze federal spending, federal hiring, federal employee salaries, and begin to cut back on this debt.
You know, I'll tell you what, Senator, I've sort of come around. Maybe it's an act of desperation. But if we paid the interest on 10-year bonds, I don't know, 10 or 15 or 20 days later than usual, if that were part of a decent cut spending deal, I think I might sign up for it. That's a big change for me. Old Wall Street guy that I mean, what the heck? You know, you're going to have to take some tough measures. I think you've been there.
Yes, we are.
I'm coming around anyway. Senator Marsha Blackburn, thank you, man. We appreciate it very much.